South Whitehall, Pennsylvania. Um, the name of the relative that lived here was Theodore Franklin and Thelma Rothrock. They were my great-great-grandparents. They lived there about 1940 to, I think till they both died, but I'm not quite sure. Observations about the location. There wasn't much farmland, like you can see like throughout here. This is the south area, like northern Whitehall there's more, like you can see up here north. But like southern Whitehall is not rural at all. Like over here maybe a little bit, I think that's farmland, but there's not much. There's mostly houses and developments. The weather is the same as my house, which is, it might be a little bit warmer because it's a little more different than my house, but for the most part it's about the same. So it's cold in winter, warm in summer. Yeah. There aren't any tourists other than more towards Allentown, which I'm not sure quite would be South Whitehall still. But more towards Allentown, there's more because of Dorney Park, but Dorney Park is in South Whitehall, which I'll talk about that later. So next is what was the area like around 1700. In 1700 it wasn't bought and named South Whitehall, so it didn't have very much population, I would think. There was less people there, more farmland, and less big businesses. Yeah. So there was less African American people. There was just not as many people. So then what topic in American history can I relate to this area that we discussed this year? I can't really relate anything, because it's nothing really happened in Whitehall. So yeah. Then the area today is more, there's definitely a larger population, more African American people. There's tons of developments and tons of places to shop and tons of roads. Like if I put the roads on, hang on a second, turn the roads on, you can see all these like big roads, and then you zoom in and you see all the little tiny roads going to different developments and all that stuff down here. It's just roads, roads, roads. And even if you take this little deal back to as far as it goes, in 1992 there were still tons and tons of things. Anyway, it's real dark. So it's been the same for a couple years, and yep. So now we have a place or person or event that the area is known for, which I'm sure you probably heard of Dorney Park, of course. Take those roads off. Let's type in Dorney Park right here, and you can see how close it is. I'm pretty sure it is in Whitehall. The address is Allentown, but it's basically Whitehall. Like it's right down here. Here it is. Like if you scroll out, you can see Whitehall is right there, and it's part of Whitehall. Oops. No. Crap. There we go. Sorry about that. So anyway, so yeah, it's part of Whitehall, as you can see. I'm sure you've been to Dorney Park before. Most people have that live in PA. I mean, there's a lot of people that haven't, but a lot of times it's, and you can see all the different deals there. Dorney Park is a very well-known place for people to go and hang out and ride rides and eat, and yep. Okay, so that was South Whitehall. Next, we will be going to Lenhartsville. So let's type in Lenhartsville over here. Lenhartsville. Well, actually, I'll do the address, which is Feather Hill Farm. Feather Hill Farm is where my grandma used to live. Hang on a second. Okay. Let's just do Lenhartsville. I'll find it. So Lenhartsville is all the way over here, more towards where I live. You can probably find the farm. Hang on a second. Thinking that's part of it. No. Here, hang on. Okay, so now we're in Lenhartsville. Let's find this farm. Lenhartsville. So, Feather Hill Road. Here we go. We might be able to find it now. Search. Yes, it's Feather Hill. Here it is. It's right here. So this is where, let me scroll in a little bit. This farm here, it goes all the way up here, throughout here. That building is supposed to be an indoor, but it's not. And it goes all the way up the hill and over here, and there's the outdoor arena. So, this is where my grandma, Carlene Minnick, used to live. And now she lives with us. She lived there since she grew up, but her parents, and then she moved out about 2006. Parents had it for years before. But anyway, the observation about Lenhartsville. Let me scroll back to Lenhartsville. Let's go back. So that's where the farm is. Lenhartsville is a very, very rural area. Like, you can see all these farms if I scroll out. Tons and tons. Farms around there. Yep. Their farm is just like a little tiny piece of it. So yeah, it's a very rural area. It's cold in the winter, warm in the summer. Businesses are farms, and it's a little bit warmer than Whitehall, like a degree warmer. And there's no tourism around there, because no one really knows what Lenhartsville is. So the area around 1776 was obviously still a rural area. There was never any kind of towns and stuff around there. And then my great-great-grandparents live there still. I wasn't really able to find anything that we learned that happened here either. None of my family were really part of American history, so I can't really say there was anything that happened near there even. So anyway, the area today is rural and lots of farms, and hay fields and all that stuff. And like years ago, it was not so grown over. Like, let me scroll this down just a little bit. You can see if you go all the way back to 1992, it was more mowed out. And the farm over here, is that the farm? Yeah. If you scroll in, the farm, everything was very much farmland. Nowadays, not very many can afford that, but yep. So now, here we go. So next is what? Oh, I already went through that. Oh, name one person, event, or attraction that area is known for. Of course, my grandma's farm. there's many people that know about it, like tons and tons of horse people, tons. So I would say that was pretty big area for there. Um, and like it's like right down the highway, like you can see right here. The road's right there, and there's the farm. And when my grandma lived there, there was no road there. It was just old 22 that runs down through here. It was never that big. 78 runs right through it. Um, and they used to, I guess they used to own the other side too, but then the deal bought it. Okay, so let's go to number 3. And this is our last stop. And it's in a totally different area, Hanover, Pennsylvania. And you can see this is more south than most of the stuff. And you can see Hanover is definitely not so rural. The relative who lived here is Preston Rothrock Sr. He might have lived there about 1920, and the observations about the location is it's not rural at all. It's more developments and stuff like that. It's definitely colder than, I mean, during the summer it's colder because it's more southern than us. Then there's lots of businesses and tourists because it's and that's where a lot of farms come from. And like you can see over here on like more western area, there's a lot of farms, but it's more actual Hanover is city. Around 1800 there were less people, less developments, and less businesses. Like I think, let's see, if you scroll it back to 1993, it was even more, almost. Yeah, it was kind of, there was more businesses, but back even more. If it went back even more, which it doesn't, you could see that there was not as many like back in 1800. So I can relate that it's in Pennsylvania, I guess, state where the Constitution was signed, which we learned about. So yep. The area today, there are more people than there were back when Preston lived there. Which Preston, I think he's my like some kind of grandparent. I'm not quite sure though. Let's see what else. And there's more developments, and there's a museum actually that I'm going to talk about. So now there's the attraction that I'm going to talk about. Okay, 2 minutes left. Is the Clareheim Myers mansion, which was actually, it's over here. Oh dear, why is it? Mansion. Hang on a second. I don't know why it's doing this. So I wasn't able to find exactly where the mansion is, but there's a mansion and it was donated, I guess. I'm thinking it might be this building here. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, but there's the Wareheim Myers Mansion. It's a museum actually. And it was donated. So, and that's the end of my presentation. Hope you enjoyed it, and bye for now.